Hello out there. Welcome again to the Andrew Richter Show, beginning its fourth consecutive season, bringing you information of interest on the local political scene, local government. And tonight, you all know Andrew Richter, the candidate for mayor of the city of Crystal. And on my right, your left, is Jason Bradley, a frequent guest on this show and full of information about tonight's topic.
I'm old hat by now.
Yeah.
I waited 70 shows to get Jason on. Now he's a regular guest.
Yeah.
Back by popular demand.
And today we're going to talk about some sort of quasi-governmental bodies that you may not have too much familiarity with. Things like the League of Minnesota Cities, the Bottineau Boulevard Partnership, Northwest Metro Mayors Association, all kinds of groups that you have no input into whatsoever, but that affect your daily lives. Let's start with a little discussion about the League of Minnesota Cities.
Well, I guess I'll start that. I'll say this. I got a bug about a year ago to kind of look. You hear all these groups like Dennis mentioned, League of Minnesota Cities, Bottineau Partnership, Association of Metropolitan Municipalities. And if you followed politics here in Minnesota, I'm sure you've heard these terms, but I kept saying to myself, who are the League of Minnesota Cities?
I think we'd all like to know that.
Yeah, I mean, but what do they do? Who's a member? Who runs it?
How much money do they spend?
Yeah, and what's their budget? That kind of thing. Now, the League of Minnesota Cities was formed in 1913. It was a special law passed by the Minnesota legislature. And in 1974, they became a separate government organization. They are not funded by the state government. What they basically are is an organization of cities and municipalities, townships, anything like that, that band together and advocate for certain state and federal policies. Those policies are, how should I put it, rather inconsistent, I would say. They have no financial transparency whatsoever, and their board, they have a board, is made up largely of elected officials and city bureaucrats who are holding dual jobs. They are elected to represent a city, yet they're advocating for a third-party group. So therein lies some of the trouble and some of the problems associated. League of Minnesota Cities is the largest of the groups we're talking about. Just about every city and township is a part of it. I can't find too many cities that are not paying their dues.
Well, so big an organization must have a healthy operating budget.
Well, I don't know.
Probably. Well, there's 853 cities in Minnesota that subscribe to the League of Minnesota Cities. 853. In addition to that, there are 11 townships and 53 special districts.
Yeah, I don't know what a special district
districts?
Yeah.
Oh. I don't know, but
Well, we have to look into that a little further, I guess.
You Google special districts, and the Minnesota League of Cities doesn't come up.
No.
But they do have, your cities do have to pay dues, is what they call it. They don't call it, your tax money is gone from an investment to a stimulus to dues. And they have a formula to figure that out. So if you live, say, in Crystal or New Hope, the formula is $6,800 plus 37 cents per capita. And in Crystal, that equals over 15 grand that we are paying every year to the League of Minnesota Cities.
So that comes out of the city's budget?
Yes, that comes out of our
That we're
levy.
paying taxes into? Okay.
Yep.
But we've got the only representation we've got on this body is through our elected officials.
Well, and it's through the board that is up. The president of the League of Minnesota Cities is Dan Ness, who is the mayor of Alexandria.
Oh, really?
Now, how can he be the mayor of Alexandria and be the head of a third party? This is a lobbying group, is what it is.
Yes.
I mean, if you're a member of Congress, you can't be the president of the ACLU.
No.
So, you know, you can't serve two masters, yet that's what's going on. And they have an agenda, they have a state and a federal platform, and I have no idea who creates the platform, no idea who has say in it.
But it does say that, I mean, their motto is trusted guidance for all Minnesota cities. We can trust their guidance.
Yeah.
In fact, it says on their website that the league continues to provide premier service to its members and is recognized as the trusted, authoritative, and unified force on issues affecting cities. Sounds autocratic, no?
Yeah, it certainly does.
Quite.
And in fact, if you look at some, you can go to lmc.org if you want to check out their website. But some of the policies they advocate, I think, is really where I would see some problems. One, they advocate a humongous bonding bill. They want a tremendous bonding bill to maximize state and federal funding. So they want to put that money on, they don't want the state and federal government to tell them what to do, but they want all the free money that comes with it. And a bond, of course, is putting it basically on a credit card if you really want it. I mean, you know, it's okay to bond some things, just like in your home. It's okay to put something on the credit card. It's not okay to put everything on there. There's also things they advocate like tax increment funding, which is using your tax dollars to, quote, invest to get more tax dollars. Doing development that will increase the levy limits that you can, the amount that you can levy. And then they pay that back in increments. They advocate things like an entertainment and a city payroll tax are things that they want to be able to do, that they want cities to be able. Right now, the state of Minnesota has some clamps on what cities can. They don't have the levy limits anymore from the Palenti era. Those are gone as of this fiscal year. But there are some restrictions that, I mean, I don't know what an entertainment tax is. Is it a tax on movie theaters or something? And
could be. If you're entertained, they're going to come and get
restaurants. I mean, I don't know what that is. And they also advocate, they advocate getting rid of mandates, yet they advocate things like sustainable development, which is in and of itself is a mandate. That is a mandate.
It is.
Going all the way up to the Department of Urban Housing and Development.
Well, in fact, the league got together with TPT and created a documentary called Green Cities Leading the Way.
Okay.
So, they're in on the whole transportation thing with the light rail and the transportation-oriented development.
There's a lot of room in that bed.
Yeah.
The bed that they're
definitely.
So, a whole plethora of various viewpoints, and it seems like whatever benefits the city government to stay afloat rather than what's best for the people that live in the city is what they advocate for to the state or federal
or the city governments to remain as they are, to just keep going as they're already constructed. But again, who comes up with this agenda? Where is the $15,000 that the city I live in, which is my money, where is that going? You go to lmc.org, you won't find a budget there. And if there's 800 some odd cities, and they're all paying 10, 15, I mean, it's in the millions we're talking.
Right.
Money that they have. I mean, is the guy in charge of this, the mayor of Alexandria, is he getting paid to do that? I would imagine so.
I would imagine so. He's taking his time to do it.
Yeah.
And I don't know too many government people that do things for free.
No. I'm sure he doesn't work past 4:30 either.
Well, and the thing is, it doesn't just stop there. That's what this government system has done, is layered all these third-party groups in there, and they each are responsible for handling different parts so that we can never follow any of it. The League of Minnesota Cities partners with a group called the National League of Cities. So I don't know if we pay dues to be part of that, because they go then and advocate to the federal government for all of the funding that we want from the federal government. There are also boards of Minnesota counties, school boards, and townships. So it's no wonder there's such a wide distribution of bad ideas.
Yeah.
If there's a National League of Cities, is there also an American League of Cities?
They play the World Series?
They play the World Series of
the World Series of Cities.
Oh,
Yes.
goodness.
Yes.
That'd have the worst ratings of any show. It'd be worse than Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
right.